Hi everyone, it's a beautiful spring day. I've come down here to check on my nucs, and then immediately I saw this one laying out a little bit. It could be preparing to swarm, I don't know. We're going to go in here and take a look. I'm about ready to get some of these in some 10 frame boxes and get them out in production yards. That's what we're going to get started on today. But first I want to look in here. If it's about to swarm and there's swarm cells, I'm going to break this down and split it up and recover some nucs from it. What I'll do is once I make the splits with the queen cells, if they're in here, I'll take them to my best yard for mating. And then once the queens go to laying, and I'll bring them back here and build them up and get them ready for next year. So let's take a look and see what we got. So we got a lot of bees. Pretty calm, nice and dark. Of course, these are New York Carleodens from last year. So let's take a look. You can see the queen on the inner cover. So this box is practically full. I can see that they're already capping honey up here. This first frame is going to be a little tricky to get out. So this is a feed frame. We got honey on the perimeter. See some drones walking around in here. Lots of bee bread right there. No swarm cells. Of course, I didn't expect to see none on this frame. So there we go. That's a very, very good looking sheet of brood. And what I'm seeing right here, there's absolutely no room at the top. So yes, I'm pretty confident this colony is committed to swarm. They're backfilling with nectar there. There's no eggs there. So they're definitely in brood nest reduction mode, although I haven't encountered a swarm cell yet. So let's take a look at another frame. Well, I got my light so I can look down in these cells. Not seeing any eggs. Of course, them bees may have all emerged in the last day. May not have been time yet. So I need to get these bees out of the way. No eggs there, but I'm really liking how good and solid the sheets of brood is. And I did treat these with the Formic Pro a little over a month ago, so they look like they've really recovered and it's cleaned up this brood nest nicely. What I mean by cleaned up is this greatly reduced the spottiness that I was seeing earlier. Yeah, I'm not seeing any eggs being laid back in these empty cells. This colony looks really good. So I found no indication of queen cups or cells in this upper part, so now I'm going to take it off and we'll search the bottom box. In either case, this colony is ready to go in a 10 frame box, and it's ready for supers, and it's ready for them today. A lot of drone brood, not a single mite in sight, which is good. If I saw any mites in this, it would be a good indication I probably have a heavy infestation rate. So there we go, there's an active swarm cell right there. You got one capped right there. Seen a couple on the bottom of that frame that are on their way being drawn out. I didn't want to disturb them. There's a nice one right there. So I would say this colony is probably within a day or two of swarming. So for me to catch it like this was just lucky. as you can be. So I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this. I'm going to divide some of these resources up and see if I can get me 2 or 3 nukes out of this, because this is the kind of bees I do want. I'm kind of trying to look for the original queen. She may be downsized, because this is a frame of food. The odds of her being on here be pretty small, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on this nuke. Now this one has a capped queen cell right here. It's probably just a few days from emerging, and I do want to look carefully for her to be on here. She's going to be dark, so she may be hard to see. In my experience, finding a queen just prior to swarming is pretty challenging. Of course, I should have got this in a hive probably a couple weeks ago. So this is just me a little bit behind. So I'm not seeing her here. I'm going to go ahead and set that in there and hope that she's not in there. Alright, so I've gathered me up a couple of more nukes. And actually right there's a queen cell I destroyed pulling it apart. So I'm going to get this frame back out with a swarm cell on it. Right there. Good amount of brood in here too. So this frame here has got a lot of food on it as well, a lot of bees on it. So I'm still hunting for the original queen. She could be shrunken down. So I'm trying to get the bees to run a little bit in case the queen is on here, and this will hopefully expose her some where I could see her. But I'm not seeing her at all. So another frame of mostly food, but also see some eggs in here, so the queen's definitely been laying in the last 2 or 3 days. She could very well be on this frame, so I need to look carefully. Alright, it did take a few minutes. What I wound up doing is to make it easier, I dumped quite a few of the bees in a bin, but I did wind up finding the old queen, and she's in the original colony. I left her a frame of brood and a pound or so of bees and a frame of food. So I've took care of that swarming issue, and I wound up getting 3 more nukes out of it. So each nuke has basically a frame and a half or so of brood and bees, and at least 2 queen cells. So there's one, there's the second, and then there's the third. And I'm going to take these up to my best yard for a couple weeks, and hopefully those queens will mature and mate and go to laying. And once that happens, I'll bring them back down here, just monitor them for their progression. And if one of them fails, all I have to do is just combine it back. But once again this year, I've been really lucky catching these colonies right before they swarm, and I definitely caught that one right before it was going to swarm. So alright, I got my 3 splits loaded up in the cab of the truck, and the reason I'm doing it this way, I'm only going 2 miles, but there is some open swarm cells in there, and there's screen bottom boards on those nukes, and I don't want to run the risk of drying out or damaging any of those cells with the wind. So I'm going to ride up there with the windows rolled up. That'll give the best protection I can give to them and give them the best chance I can. So let's head up there and get them out. Alright, I've got them up here at their destination, and I've got them set up here. This is going to be their home hopefully for the next 3 weeks. That's how long they're going to sit here before I look in them. Even though there may be eggs in 2 weeks or 10 days, I'm going to give them 3 weeks, because I know there's plenty of resources. They're heavy. We'll see how it goes. I got them up here in my best yard, and I want those queens to mate with these drones, and hopefully I'll get 3 really good new colonies out of it. So we'll see how it goes. I appreciate you for joining me for this video. Never stop learning, and we'll catch you next time.